everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new weekly vlog. I'm starting from a slightly different place. I feel like every vlog of the past couple of weeks has been from the car, so it's nice to actually start the vlog inside and be in a slightly new setup. I actually over the weekend decided to repurpose what was my dressing table setup in our apartment into a bit of a desk setup because for many reasons, just finding a bit of a worky corner in the house we're currently in temporary has proven quite hard. Unfortunately, our kitchen table got damaged as we moved, so we're kind of in between things at the moment. But anyway, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this weekly vlog. Very excited to be starting in a new place. I've got a lovely big mug of herbal tea and I thought I would catch up with you here. I've literally just been sat on my laptop doing a little bit of invoicing. It is the last week of May, so all my invoicing comes out on the last week of May. Not particularly exciting at all, but we have got some relatively fun things planned for this week. I actually have a nail appointment this afternoon. My nails are very grown out, and we actually have 2 weddings in the month of June, so I'm gonna just go really short and neutral. So nail appointment this afternoon, which is very exciting, and then I'm actually getting my hair done on Friday for what is, I'm hoping, my once yearly hair appointment. I really am trying not to do too much to my hair these days, so just once yearly, pop in, get a trim, and I think I'm gonna get just a few like baby lights and stuff to match bottom to top. But a very chilled appointment, which I'm looking forward to. That's on Friday afternoon. I'm a little bit nervous, if I'm honest. I just get quite nervous with things with my hair because obviously, as many of you will know, I spend an awful lot of time rehabbing it from lots of blonde and whatnot over the years. But in, I don't know if it's more exciting news or just other news, I think today or yesterday was the Gemini new moon, but also, and I feel like some of you guys will have felt this, technically as of the 26th of May, Aries moved in, well, Saturn moved into Aries, which is the technical start of my Saturn return, which I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, I think it goes into Aries for a little bit this year, then there's a break, then it goes back in next year. I feel like my Saturn return started ages ago, as many of you will know. And I've just been like doing loads of research, trying to just get a feel, but obviously it's so different, these like Saturn return journeys for everyone. And it's really funny as well, because Jake's not here, he's in the office today, but Jake and I are moving through our Saturn return at the same time. And it's also just really interesting to see how it plays out in different areas of your life as well. I personally really do feel that actually all of the themes that they say the Saturn return is bringing up are definitely there, but I feel like I've kind of had, and I say this and I might eat my words, I'm touching wood, touching the desk for wood now. I feel like the really, for lack of a better way of putting it, the really horrible, hard, like just not nice, painful bits of my Saturn return, I'm really hoping that I've been through a good 80% of them. I'm hoping that I've been through a good portion of the death part of my Saturn return. And I'm hoping, and I'm feeling very much with it being in Aries, I feel like it's going to be a real rebirth that I've been wanting for ages, but it just hasn't felt at all aligned, if I'm honest. So yeah, that is my hope coming into my Saturn return. I'm actually not feeling as doom and gloom as I thought I would be feeling at this stage. I'm kind of feeling like, yeah, it's all happening in good time. It's all exactly how it's meant to be. For those of you who don't know, and for those of you who might be going through your own Saturn returns, my Saturn return is in my 12th house. So for anyone that doesn't know, that's in like, my 12th house is related to Pisces. So it's like a deeply ego deaths, spiritual awakenings, just an awful lot, an awful lot going on. Yeah, I'm not actually surprised, it makes a lot of sense, but to say I didn't expect all of it would be an understatement. But yes, that is a big thing that has happened this week and a big thing that I'm sort of playing on my mind. I've actually been thinking recently, we're starting with a big old natter. I've also been thinking recently that I've been feeling really called to do a cord cutting ritual just for myself, between like past versions of myself and new versions of myself. And I was actually waiting until Saturn came into Aries to do it, but then it just seemed to, like, we got to the 26th very quickly and I was like, oh my goodness, I've completely missed up my dates. Also, any Taylor Swift fans, honestly, this is the biggest natter to start the vlog. I fully clowned for Reputation, Taylor's version, last night. Last night was 26th, they were the AMAs, and I fully clowned for that and thought we were gonna get Reputation, Taylor's version, and that would have been just incredible. I feel like it would have really marked my Saturn return beginning, but also just like, it would have been a great summer. For those of you who don't know, Reputation is actually my favourite Taylor Swift album, which always shocks people. They expect me to be like a love girl. I'm not. I'm a Reputation girl, and then probably like Folklore, Evermore, Torture Poets Department. Those are probably my sort of Taylor loves, but Reputation is just like my number one love. I love her so much. So yeah, that was a bit disappointing, but nevertheless, I have nattered for far too long to begin this vlog. So my plan for the day is really just to chug along. I'm really enjoying my little desk setup, and something else that I was thinking about was, we're coming into June next week, but I'm kind of feeling it already, and always around sort of that 6-month mark in the year, I begin to feel really called to do a like mid-year vision board. This is something that my very first vision board was actually a mid-year vision board, and it's just every time it gets to this time of year, I just feel really called to do a mid-year vision board. So what I might do is, I feel like it's already kind of in the making, but I might begin it this week, and then I like to sort of go on my vision board and see things that I have achieved in the first 6 months of the year, things that I have begun to embody, and then I just like to see where the year has taken me so far and maybe redirect if needed. So I think I actually might get started with a gentle mid-year vision board. I feel like sometimes they're the most potent ones. So yes, that is the plan for the week. I have given you a nice long natter to start the vlog, but without further ado, let's dive in to the week ahead. Hello everyone, my hair is looking rather crazy because it is blowing an absolute gale out there. Like, it's so windy and gloomy and definitely cozy weather. My nails, oh, can you see them? The perfect sort of princessy nail. I think this is probably one of my favorite sets I've had because they're just lovely and short and clean, and I just think they're going to be lovely. This is probably my favorite Biab color. It is number 19. I've had it before and I really loved it then, and I really love it again. It just feels like my natural nails but better. So lovely. But yes, that was perfect, exactly what I needed. That is now done. Crazy hair is out. I'm kind of enjoying going for this sort of wavy look as of late. I just feel like it's a little bit less, it's a little bit more effortless and chilled, which I'm really liking. It looks a little crazy, but I quite like it. I think it's just, I don't know, I do really enjoy it. But with that being said, I'm gonna head home. I am gonna make myself a cup of tea, and to be honest, I'm sure it must be at least 4 o'clock by now. I'm gonna dive into my book and just have a bit of a chill. I'm not sure what I'm having for dinner actually. I might have to go via the shop. We're going to have a bit of a brainstorm and think if I have anything in for dinner. I'm hoping I might have some pasta, otherwise it might be like a breakfast for dinner kind of situation. It's a girl dinner basically, because Jake is out late tonight, so it's a chill, easy girl dinner. So we shall see, but we are in need of a cup of tea and a chill afternoon. Good evening, everybody. It's actually Thursday. I've had 2 days of, honestly, at the end of the month, I always have quite a lot of admin. So I've actually had 2 days of lots of admin, email writing, setting some things up for Soul Shadow for next month, more emails. I can't even think what else, invoicing, whatnot. Quite a fair bit of admin. I actually uploaded a class here on YouTube yesterday, which is one of our classes from our new cycle syncing series on Soul Shadow, and it's a class for your ovulation phase. So I feel like you don't see as many classes for your ovulation phase, so I wanted to mention that here because I thought some of you might enjoy it. But yes, I was working on uploading that yesterday as well. It is now Thursday. I am literally in the car about to head into studio for my 2 evening classes, which is lovely. So yeah, actually there was something that I wanted to pop on and chat about. Obviously I'll take you along for the evening, show you what I get up to with evening classes as much as I can, but there is something that over the past 2 days I've just sort of been like thinking about and toying about, and I have mentioned this before, so anyone who watches the vlogs will be like, Amara, we don't know why you're toying with this because we've already said. But I know I've mentioned before the potential of considering doing a podcast. It's been something that I literally have the space on it on my website as well, but I've kind of just been toying with the idea. It always was something I wanted to do, but it wasn't quite the right time for whatever reason, whether it be life was busy or I was moving something, or I just didn't have the sort of setup to do so. And I'm kind of thinking, maybe not immediately, but I was thinking that actually it might be coming to that point where I feel ready to maybe dip my toes into podcasts and maybe putting together a sort of podcast, because when I think about the content that I like to share with you guys, I really enjoy sharing content that can be consumed slowly, whether it be a nice long YouTube video like this, where you sit down and you watch it and consume it slowly, or I feel like a podcast is often that. I know I often listen to podcasts whilst I'm walking. So yeah, I was just kind of thinking, and I was like, I wonder if it's coming round to that time. So with that being said, what I was thinking is, instead of just doing it on a podcast, I could do a bit of a mix. If they would be sit down YouTube videos, so you could consume them on YouTube if you wanted to, and maybe you're cooking and you wanted the visual, but also you could consume them in a podcast format. But with that being said, it would just be a really lovely space for me to chat, probably more so about intentional living and spirituality, and I think just like we already talk about it a little bit in the vlogs, but just go into a lot more depth, especially just to that like feminine embodiment and healing and whatnot. And with that being said, I wanted to kind of run the idea of names with you. Now, originally, when I had thought of doing my podcast, I was going to call it Soul Spells, because I just thought spells are often spoken word. I thought that was really, really beautiful. However, that was over a year ago now, and I feel like something that has kind of crept into my work that feels really like resonant with me is Rooted Feminine Healing. And I was thinking it could be really beautiful to call it the Rooted Feminine Podcast, and I kind of wanted to run that by you and see what you thought. To be honest, I'm like 90% decided that it's going to be the Rooted Feminine, I think, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Please no one go and then take that and start your own podcast. I often don't share things like that because I'm very wary that the internet can be a bit of a crazy place. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, is the Rooted Feminine. And I thought that that could be really, really beautiful. Let me know what you think. Let me know if that's something that you would enjoy. I know that so many of you have said that you would love to hear that. And I also feel like unless you're with me on Soul Shadow or you're with me in classes in person, you don't often get to maybe experience me as a teacher as much. This is a very casual hanging out space, but it could be really nice to be able to kind of share from a more teacher or even just like big sister space about really in-depth spirituality. And literally it would be kind of like Bare All, we talk about existential crises and feminine rage and things like that, like really deep feminine healing work on my thoughts on it. So I'm not going to natter for too long because I do need to get in the studio and get myself ready and set up. But let me know what you guys think about podcasts down below, please. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Looking rather bleary-eyed on a Friday morning, but that is okay. I have just actually wrapped myself up quite warm because it's always quite chilly when we come out here, but I have wrapped myself up quite warm. I've nicked Jake's jumper and we are going for a walk. I haven't been very good with coming out for my walks, but I really wanted to make sure I got out today. I'm actually going to treat myself, I think, to a chai latte just for the positive reinforcement that this is something we love doing, and I'm going to listen to an audiobook on my walk. This is something I've recently been doing. Instead of podcasts, I've been listening to audiobooks just because I haven't been finding any podcasts that I've been vibing with recently. Hence the conversation we had yesterday. But anyway, what I'm currently listening to is, I think it's Your Soul Had a Dream, Your Life Is It by Rebecca Campbell. I do have the hard copy, but actually I just find that when it comes to almost listening to someone's musings and things that they have literally, like, I know with Rebecca, like she channels them into these texts, I actually find that I resonate more with it when I hear it in her voice versus reading it necessarily. So I'm really enjoying that. That has been amazing. So I'm quite looking forward to that as well. But let's set out on a walk, and then I need to go home and get myself a little bit more freshened up because I have got a hair appointment this afternoon, a very overdue one. I tend to only have one hair appointment a year, so it's my annual trip to the hairdresser, so I need to get myself nice and fresh for that. I'm a little bit nervous, if I'm honest. I always get a little bit nervous when I try new hairdressers, but anyway, let's go get chai latte and get some fresh air and be out in nature. Good morning, everyone. It is quite a few days later than when I last checked in with you. I think I last spent time with you on my morning walk on Friday, and actually on Friday afternoon I got my hair done, which you can kind of see now. I really didn't get very much done. I just tried to get the bottom to match the top a little bit. I actually do have, I wouldn't even say the first signs of greys coming through. I've definitely got like certain parts of my hair where I've got a good proportion of greys coming through, which my grandma was actually grey by the time she was 30, so I'm not surprised by this. I kind of knew that I was gonna begin to see greys maybe earlier than some people do, but my sort of approach with it is to really try and blend it, and I just don't want to get into the habit of covering up greys because firstly, I love long, witchy grey white hair. I think that's so pretty and actually quite chic as well. I have very much big intentions for that to be me when I get older. So I don't want to get into the habit of covering them up. And because I am sort of this sort of colour, I can just add some lightness to the top and it kind of blends, and we do a bit of grey blending, so that is hence the trip. But you can kind of see there is a bit of more colour going on there. It's also like not the world's freshest hair today. We're on like day 2 or 3 hair, so you can kind of feel that. But it is the next week and I'm trying to think what's happened. There hasn't actually been that much happening in truth. I know that I mentioned last week that I was thinking of doing a new vision board for June. I'm still very much thinking that. We're now in June. And I'm definitely thinking I want to do a mid-year vision board. But as I said, I think I like to do this around the time of the summer solstice. So I give myself like the few weeks leading up to it to kind of have like a little
search on Pinterest, a little sit with my intentions, see how I'm feeling, see what I feel like needs to be added to that vision board. But with that being said, one thing that I do need to do before that is take you through, I think, my old vision board, or my vision board for the beginning of the year, and reflect on it and see what we have achieved. So that is, yeah, kind of the update on that. I'm still very much in the Pinteresting phase and the just sitting with intention phase of that bit. The only other thing I wanted to come and chat to you about before I finish the vlog and take you guys on a walk, and I did actually really want to get this vlog finished because it means it can then go out to you versus leaving it a really, really long time. So yeah, I wanted to finish it and get it out to you and at least try and get one upload up each week. I did have big intentions for this year to try and get YouTube to grow, but in order to do that, I need to be more consistent. I know. So that is my little push there. But otherwise, that's actually something I chatted about on my Instagram briefly yesterday. I rarely chat much on Instagram these days. But I was actually sharing the June classes on Soulshala, and we have 2 live classes this month, which we've got a Moon Circle and a Summer Solstice Community Circle. And I just actually wanted to pop on and kind of say that I know that, and I don't know if a lot of people struggle with this, I know that something that I have struggled with massively within my 20s and my adult life has been loneliness and feeling really isolated. Obviously, I moved away from home at a really, really young age, like arguably probably too young. I know so many people move away for university. I did move away for university, and I moved away at quite a young age. I was 18, and since then I haven't lived at home, so I haven't been near my family and my older friends and the friends I grew up with. And so I feel like my 20s has been an awful lot of creating new relationships, and then we move and I create new relationships, and we've moved, or I've moved, it's got to be at least 6 times throughout my 20s now. Like, it's an awful lot, and considering how many years, I'm only 27 currently, so like it's quite a lot. That's almost every single year. So yeah, that is something that I've really struggled with, felt, experienced, is that adult sort of loneliness and isolation. And it's really not the same as, like, as an adult you quite often have to make an effort to be social and to see friends, and I'm quite an introverted person as it is, so naturally I do find that sometimes a little bit more challenging. And I feel like for so long I always craved just those spaces filled with women that were really like-minded and really understood, and somehow, some way, through some miracle, I actually really feel like Soulshala has become that, which is why I know I've said in the past just how grateful I am for it, because I love my work, but also it is so healing for me as well. Like, and that's actually why the live events, we don't tend to do live classes per se. A lot of our live events are more moon circles, community circles, collective card readings, because they really are just a space to genuinely sit with a cup of tea. I'm actually still in my PJs this morning, so you could come with you in your PJs, sit with a cup of tea, and we kind of just have like a spiritual catch up. We pull cards, we chat about what's going on energetically, we chat about how we're feeling, what we're sort of experiencing, and it's sort of very, some people are really confident to share, which is lovely, and I usually see the same faces each time, and some of us don't want to share and just want to be there and soak up the energy, and that's also fine. But I just wanted to mention that here because I know that I can't be the only one that has struggled with this throughout her 20s, and if you are someone who maybe feels the same or has experienced the same, and you're just like, God, I could really do with just a space of like-minded women and some virtual community, if you're maybe don't have the community elsewhere, Soulshala is really, really, really beautiful for that. I think it's grown into that without even me realizing it would. So it is always there should you wish to. I actually think that our live sessions are kind of like a live vlog. Like, we chat like this, to be honest. It's really lovely. And there is actually a 7-day free trial for all new members. So if you haven't tried us before, you may absolutely love it. But with that being said, I've been nattering for 6 minutes and I do want to get this vlog finished. I am going to take you along for my morning walk, I think. Show you some clips. No, I'm not. I'm going to get this vlog finished so I can start a new one. I am sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here. It means the absolute world. I hope you have the most beautiful day, week. I think this will be going live on a Thursday, so weekend ahead. And I can't wait to chat with you and catch up with you in my next video. Bye guys.